Welcome back. So you might think of Parkinson's disease as a condition that affects mostly older men, but globally, there are over 3 million women living with the disease as well.
Well, we are now learning that women often experience Parkinson's symptoms differently than men, and they have more barriers to care. They are underdiagnosed and underrepresented in research. So here to tell us more is Caitlin Nagy, who lives with Parkinson's, and CEO of Parkinson Canada, Karen Lee. Welcome both of you to the show.
The basics for those who haven't been touched by Parkinson's. What is it exactly?
So Parkinson's disease is a neurological condition. It affects movement. So people will experience tremors, stiffness, but there's also what we call non-motor symptoms. So people do experience cognitive issues, depression, apathy. And as the disease progresses, everyday tasks become difficult, like walking and talking. We currently only have treatments for the symptoms. We don't have treatments that stop, slow down, or reverse the disease.
Is it hereditary?
So there is a very small population where it is hereditary, and we see it through generations. However, in the majority of the population that live with Parkinson's, it's a bit of a perfect storm. We believe it's probably a genetic component plus an environmental factor, such as pesticides, environmental industrial materials potentially, that causes the onset of Parkinson's disease.
Wow.
Well, Caitlin, you've been living with Parkinson's for 10 years now. So if we can go back to the beginning, I mean, you look really young. So where did this journey begin for you?
Yeah, so it started when I was 31 with a little bit of a tremor in my wrist that just wouldn't stop. And then within a few months, it had spread up my arm, and then my arm was moving quite a bit. And I just want to call out to the camera, just as you guys see me moving and twitching. So this type of movement is called dyskinesia. And this is actually a side effect of the medication. It's not part of the disease.
Ah, wow.
Yes, yes. So I actually delayed taking medication for the first 6 years because I was so afraid of the side effects.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
But you know, it just starts very small and then all of a sudden rapidly progresses. And I had to wait about a year till I saw a movement disorder specialist.
Can I just quickly ask, was the diagnosis made quickly?
I had it's hard to say because they kind of observe you and have to look at you for over a few periods of time, but it took about a year.
About a year.
And so what was it like for you to be diagnosed at such a young age? And I understand like part of the delay of treatment was also because you wanted to start a family.
Yes, yes. So, and that was a big factor is that nobody knows if you can take Parkinson's medication with pregnancy, obviously, and I didn't want to risk that. And for me, it was so important to me that I wanted to have a baby. So that was a big factor for me in waiting. Yeah. So I waited the first 6 years.
Yeah. You know, I say that I looked at you and said, you're so young, because we think of a prototypical person with Parkinson's, and I don't know, I just think of someone older. I think of someone probably male. So Karen, if I can ask you, with Caitlin's story, being so young, before having children, then parenting, and then, you know, why don't we throw in the fun thing called perimenopause, right? So how common is Parkinson's, especially in a case like Caitlin's?
So you're right. The textbook image of somebody living with Parkinson's in medical school is very much a white, older male. But Parkinson's doesn't discriminate. We see it in females. They almost make up 50% of the population of
15?
people. 50.
50?
Yeah.
Oh, half.
And young. It happens in young women as well. Like Caitlin, we've seen women as young as 21 being diagnosed. So there needs to be a lot more research and understanding and awareness about Parkinson's in women.
Wow. So you're a neuroscience scientist by background. Tell us what the research currently does say about women and Parkinson's.
So truthfully, we need to do more in this area. Like Caitlin said, like we're experiencing different things as we age. Perimenopause, menopause, how does hormones interact with the Parkinson's, as well as the medication. And so we know that symptoms present later for women, so they're getting diagnosed probably later. As Caitlin was saying, you need a tremor, and so maybe it comes on a little bit later, so it delays treatment as well.
So Caitlin, what can you offer to other women who may find themselves in a similar situation?
I think, you know, there's so much advice out there, but I would say the top 3 things that I think are really important is track your symptoms so that you can monitor your fluctuations, but also have proof to your doctor that your symptoms are valid and actually happening. And then second off, find your light. Find something like a beacon that you can feel guided to, something you're passionate about, and focus on that passion and allow yourself to lean into that rather than focusing on the disease. And then the last one would be really lean into finding a community. Let go of negativity and biases and focus on surrounding yourself with people that lift you up and support you.
And have you found a community?
Yes, definitely. Yeah. So for me, it took me a little bit of time. And I think for women, it's really scary for us to come out of our shell. We experience Parkinson's symptoms more physically, so we have more of a physical display. And that can be really terrifying and intimidating, coming into a community and wanting people to accept you.
Karen, what support is available for people living with Parkinson's, women in particular?
So I think one of the big things we hear a lot is, great, I have my diagnosis, now what? They send me home with medication, but as a woman living with Parkinson's, what do I do? And so we really encourage people to come to parkinson.ca. We will tailor support specifically for females because we are realizing there's a real niche that we really need to fill for women living with Parkinson's.
Yeah, I do want to see, like, we're saying women, and we know that women are still the center points of most households.
Yeah.
So how are you living day to day? And I know you have a daughter that we were talking about earlier. What is life like daily?
Oh my gosh. Crazy busy. I think for me, I have to gauge when my good times are going to be and my bad times are going to be. And I really have to lean on my husband, who's been amazing, and my mother-in-law to support me in the times that I'm really weak. So my mornings are when I'm my best, and that's when I can be on with my daughter and with her. Anytime after 4 o'clock, I'm in bed, I'm lying down, I can't be that present with her. So usually I'm trying to rest so that I can be really present for bedtime. So it's a matter of trying to schedule your off time so that you can be really present and on as a parent when you can.
Yeah, it's amazing. Thank you both for sharing your story, for the work that you're doing. So we're going to bring a lot of awareness to a lot of people out there.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Unbelievable. We're going to take a very quick break. We'll be back right after this.
Hey, you, come a bit closer. We've got so many more must-see interviews, spicy debates, lifestyle tips, and pop culture moments. So subscribe to our channel by tapping the logo below and don't miss out.